Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7, and we are racing at this week's current daily race C in Group 4 at Bathurst. It's a no-stop race on racing hard tyres. You do not want to pit in this race. You just need to do a little bit of fuel saving. Yeah, this was an exciting race. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it, and I think it really does emphasise the importance of being very, very patient in this combination, because this combo is all about a little bit of fuel saving on the middle sector and then use your fuel up for the overtakes on the back straight. Ferrari seems to be a very good car for this race. Some people have been using the Silvias in turn 1. A driver going a bit wide there. Luckily we just managed to get through that and turn to the left and avoid hitting that car and take the position up into P10. So yeah, it does seem like Ferrari and the Supra are two very good cars for this race. Silvia seems to struggle a little bit on certain areas compared to the Ferrari, so I do think the Ferrari is a better car than the Silvia for the race. Maybe time trial, the Silvia is a little bit stronger, but in terms of race pace on the hard tyre, I think the Ferrari is the car to go. So working our way up the hill now, this is where we're going to start doing the fuel saving. So you can see on the uphill section, you can see I'm in that slipstream. I know I can't do an overtake up here. There's no point wasting fuel and burning our fuel to get right up behind the car in front. So what I'm doing is a bit of short shifting. You can see up into 4th gear, nice and early there, into 5th gear at 50% revs, and just saving the fuel. And what I will say with the Ferrari is it's got quite good acceleration from around 50% shift range. So if you do shift around 50 to 60, 70%, it actually accelerates pretty well still. So saves a lot of fuel. And you can see now I'm saving my fuel into 6th gear. And one thing I'm doing is I'm trying to stay in higher gears in that braking phase. We're not going to downshift aggressively. We're not going to let that car rev up and unstabilize it during this downhill section and use too much fuel up. It's all about just making sure we're close to the cars in front as we get on the power. So from this section here, this is where you really want to line it up, get the car rotating into that final corner, and we're putting that power down to see if we can go for a move. But you can see at the moment here, we've got a group of cars all in a slipstream. I think there's P7, 8, 9 and myself in P10 all in a slip, so it's going to be very difficult to go for a move here. So again, I'm just going to do fuel saving, early upshift to 7th gear. Very important with the Ferrari, getting that 7th gear as quick as possible if you're in a slipstream, because it will pull massively in that 7th gear. And also it'll save you a massive amount of fuel because the revs will be so much lower. But as we come in here, a little bit of chaos, we see that developing. I go for a wide line, tuck underneath, and a nice little switcheroo there down the inside and up into P9. So one move done there, 2 positions gained on lap 1. Not the most amazing start to race, but there's not been that much opportunity so far. We're obviously starting at the back in P11, not setting a lap time and just trying to work our way through to the front of the field. So now we've got Willits in front of us in the Silvia, and this is where you're going to see the differences between these two cars. So this section here, Silvia's got incredible acceleration on uphill parts of track. So when we're on the uphill section, there's not much we can do. You can see he's going to be able to probably short shift and still out drag us up there because he does have the slipstream as well. And even if I get in the slipstream, we're not really going to be able to do much. So I'm going to start short shifting a little bit there into 6th gear. Had a little look up the inside here, but we're not going to go for a move. There's no point even attempting that. We're just going to tuck up behind. And again, same as before, save fuel in this middle section, patience, short shift. That is how you have to do this race. And then when you get to the back of the back part of the lap here, before we get to the back straight, this is where you're going to again use your fuel up. So again, we're in that slipstream, try and get a tight line through there. We see thanks for the ram goes a little bit wide there. That's going to open up the door for us on the left hand side. We've got the slipstream, and that's another position done. It's all about being quite tactical with this. However, you can see what happens here is the Silvia gets in the slipstream and we're stuck on the outside now. So we're not actually benefiting, and the Ferrari on the right hand side is bump drafting that Silvia, so probably going to get back past her. So he's on the inside. You can see in the replay corner, on the bottom corner, you can see he's back through, and we're going to brake early here. He brakes a little bit late, gets his right hand tyre onto the grass, loses control, and we get that position back up into P8. So then the Silvia goes a little bit wide there. That's going to leave us a chance of possibly going for an overtake here. So we're going to take that down the left hand side, brake as late as we can, down to 2nd gear, hold that apex, get on that throttle, and now up into P7. We ran a little bit wide there, grass onto the grass there with the tyres. Be very careful on that last corner. If you do run wide, if anything, upshift or just lift off that throttle just to stop the power going down, because you will lose the rear if you try and floor it out some of them corners on the curb. Same thing for turn 1 as well, as we go a little bit wide there but get away with that. So skipping a little bit further on in the lap, and we've managed to get right up behind Muscaffi now. He goes a little bit wide here, gets some dirty tyres, nearly loses control. We're going to go around the outside. I don't think he realised we were there. He just knocked us into us, so I back out of that and think, let's just be safe, be patient, because there's no point binning it. We're on a reasonable run here. We're in P7 and we're working our way through the field quite nicely. So let's just wait for the main straight. So again, into this part of the track. Now we're going to use up that fuel. So again, you can see fuel looking very good at this stage. You know, we've got over a lap, near enough a lap more than what I need. So down the left hand side, use the fuel up. We can rev it out pretty much to the end of the rev range. We don't need to over rev it though, because what I've seen with this Ferrari is you don't really gain much by revving completely maximum. It actually pulls really well a little bit earlier on, so shifting towards the end of the rev range is all you need to do. You don't need to go beyond that. So into the braking zone again, brake up the inside, brake nice and late, take that apex and up into P6, Super GT's favourite position now. So let's see if we can work our way now into the top 5. So looking at the replay camera, you can see that Josetti behind us is going to go for a move up the inside of Muscafi as well. Josetti and the BMW. Now, I did try that BMW out on a practice session that we did on Sunday and found that it wasn't the best car, to be honest. But Josetti is one of the fastest, but I don't think it's one of the best cars. And you can see that it clearly isn't, because I'm managing to pull away from him in the Ferrari. It's just lacking a bit of grunt on the straight, and it doesn't seem that great on fuel either. So we're now towards the end of lap 4, coming up to the halfway point in this race, and we're approaching the Spanish driver in front of us, another driver in the Silvia, and this, hopefully we can get past him as soon as possible. Again, the problem with this car is we can only really overtake on the downhill section. You can't get past the Silvia on the uphill section because it just has too much power. So into the final corner before we start lap 5, using some of the curb on the right hand side there, getting away with that, and into that slipstream. You can see as we go over the line, we go over with a 2:12.6, the fastest lap of the race so far. Not a bad lap, could have been a little bit better, but pretty solid there. And now we're going to work our way up the straight, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. Look at the initial acceleration out of that corner the Silvia gets. That car is so quick out of the early acceleration on the uphill section. Even in a slipstream, I can't get anywhere near close enough to go for an overtake. So I'm just short shifting now because I know that I can't overtake it, so there's no point wasting fuel. And that's what I recommend you do when you're behind the Silvia there. Don't waste your fuel trying to rev it out. Just wait for an opportunity. Again, I'm going to short shift here because I know I can't overtake him. So again, look, we're going to go into 5th gear really early and just sit behind him in that slipstream. Just be careful we don't hit him there. Brakes a little bit late, managed to avoid him. And then again, short shifting all the way up this section. You can see Josetti's right back up behind us in that BMW, because obviously we're getting a little bit held up at this stage, because obviously the Silvia isn't the best over the whole race distance. So we're just trying to save some fuel. Josetti right up behind us again. And now we just got to be patient until we get to that back stage of the lap on the back straight, because we should be able to fly past the Silvia. The Ferrari is a lot quicker on the downhill section. When we get to the downhill part of the lap, you're going to see the difference again here. So again, lining it up for this final sector, all 3 cars very, very close on this very tricky section where you've got to be very careful the rear end will not step out. So into that final left-hand corner before the long straight, onto the throttle, trying to get a good exit, and now you're going to see the difference of when we're going on a downhill part compared to an uphill part. Now we're going downhill. The Ferrari comes alive, absolutely like unbelievably quick on the downhill section, and it actually just breezes past the Silvia without any issue at all. And then into 7th gear, we pull away even more because of the way the gearing is. This car is really good for overtakes at that part of the track. And again, he has a little look up the inside there, but he's not able to brake late enough. And that is us up into P5 with 3 laps to go. Now you can see the gap is quite a long way. We've got over nearly 4 seconds to P4 and nearly 6 seconds to the leader of this race at the moment. And we've only got 3 laps to go. So it's going to require something pretty amazing to get close to them. Let's see if we can manage to pull forward as much as we can. We're going to push as much as we can. You can see a 13.3, obviously. Again, not an amazing lap, but we had to do the overtake and we were held up on that middle sector. So by the end of lap 6, we are right behind P4. We managed to catch up. I think he made a little bit of a mistake on the lap, and that's given us the ability to get right behind him in that slipstream. And again, we're possibly not going to be close enough on this straight to go for a move. So you can see we're too far behind. 4 temps, 5 temps, that's too far to go for a move. So again, we're going to probably save some fuel on this straight as we work our way up the hill. You can see early into 5th gear. I'm probably going to go into 6th gear nice and early, around 50% shift like we do there. So again, you can see saving that fuel when we know we can't overtake, and that is something if you do this week, I really think it's going to benefit you and help you out in the race pace, because don't waste fuel when an overtake is not possible. Use the slipstream, save it up all through the lap until you get to that back part of the lap, and then use the power on that back part of the lap. That is where the overtakes, the easy overtakes are done. Again, you can see very, very close through here, and again, just short shifting, around 50% shift, 60% shift, something like that. And you know, you can't do anything here. This is all about just sitting behind, waiting behind until you get to this section here at the end of the downhill section. And now it's all about using the power. Now this is Ferrari versus Ferrari, so this will be a little bit harder than the overtake on the Silvia, because the Ferrari has much better acceleration. So we got that slipstream. You can see us revving it out quite a bit there. Now we're going to go to the left hand side of the track, And we did get a bit of slip before the uphill section, so that gives us the nice bit of extra boost as we go to the top of the hill, and we've got ourselves up into P4. So as we look in the distance there, we can see a bit of chaos going on. P3 off the track there, a little bit of contact possibly, I'm not sure what happened there, but we are up into a podium position with 1 lap to go, chat. 1 final lap now. Can we manage to catch up 3 seconds to the leaders? That is quite a long, it's a bit of a big gap to get in 1 lap, but we're going to give it a go. Push as much as we can. Fuel is looking reasonable. You can see 15% fuel is pretty much enough fuel to go 100% on this last lap. So you can see we're going purple at that point. We're on a very good lap here. Pushing on the downhill section, completely going for it, revving the car out. We've got fuel to burn, and now into that back section. You can see we've actually caught up to 1.3, 1.2 behind P2, and they are battling a little bit. P1 has lost 1.5 seconds on that lap, and now it's a case of just, will they battle and give us the opportunity to go for a move at the end? This is going to be very, very close, because if one car goes for a move at any point at this last few corners that we've got, they're going to lose 3-4 attempts because of the way it is. So you can see that Ritaka is going down the right hand side there. I think he's going to go for a move. We're purple again into the final sector, and now we're just going to make sure we try and brake, get on that throttle. So down to 3rd gear, down to 2nd gear, then back up to 3rd gear, trying to get a good exit. You can see there's a bit of chaos going on there. Ritaka looks like he's gone off the track. He's going to have dirty tyres now for this final corner, so we're going to pick up that slipstream. Now we have to be very careful here, so we can brake nice and early. And you can see that Sackboy does the same thing. He takes that tight line. We take the tight line. We're going to get the slipstream. And can we go for the winner? This is extremely close up to the finishing line. And we just sneaked a P2. Very, very close finish though. A 10th between the top 3. Again, another brilliant race on Gran Turismo. Thoroughly enjoyable. And I really think that shows you the advantage of being extremely patient at the right points of the track. You can get a good result by just being patient, saving the fuel at the right points. And hopefully a little bit of advice there on the fuel to where you can do it with the Ferrari to help you race pace. But yeah, if you enjoyed that video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comments what you thought, and I'll see you for more live streams and videos in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.